Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. As PC gamers struggle to cross the vast and lifeless desert that is 2026, mouths parched, wallets empty, a barren and desolate landscape, the only bleak outlook as seemingly endless hardware shortages stretch to the horizon and beyond. But the sight of an oasis along the course of such a toilsome journey is made all the sweeter, and so it was with this week's launch of the Steam controller, a relatively affordable PC gaming upgrade for consumers wanting to let off some steam after many months of price deterrence when it comes to most other PC components. Which is probably why a bunch of PC gamers did that thing where they come running from all sides and converge on a central object and bonk heads and fall back, allowing the scalpers to swoop in and yoink the prize, of course. Also, motherboard sales have collapsed, RAM fabricator employees are taking home hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses, and new GPUs are actually launching. They're just really, really expensive. Seems like the only thing that's not overpriced now is the tech news.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by Thermaltake's Wood Series cases, adding a touch of warmth and style to a variety of existing chassis designs, such as the TR200WS, seen here in the white snow finish, showcasing light-colored wood-textured accents while maintaining the TR200's core features, such as easily removable side and top panels, magnetic dust filters, and support for an optional 6-inch LCD screen. Black cases like the TR300WS are paired with darker maple-inspired accents for a warm and stylish aesthetic, and of course the case still includes a tempered glass side panel, excellent airflow, and support for 360mm radiators for AIO or custom cooling. Thermaltake's WS chassis lineup includes other cases from the View series and more, so for further details click the Thermaltake Wood Series sponsor link in the video description. The week began with what turned out to be a much anticipated hardware launch, the Steam controller, which received quite positive reviews the week prior, and while some might have predicted that there are a lot of PC gamers out there with unused upgrade money due to overpriced RAM, etc., apparently none of those people work at Valve. The Steam controller went up for sale at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Monday and sold out within 30 minutes, while also borking the Steam website and service, predictably leading to a lot of complaints from prospective buyers who either could not proceed through to checkout, saw estimated ship times double in a few minutes, or who were just generally frustrated by an unresponsive website. Then came the scalper listings on eBay and similar sites marking the controller up to $200 or more, which led to a community response from gamers discouraging anyone from buying from scalpers and encouraging mass reporting of said listings, at least in particular those that weren't set up as pre-sales. Valve responded Tuesday acknowledging the fast-moving sales, and Thursday they confirmed that they would be enabling a reservation queue for the controller starting Friday, which they've already done in the past with the Steam Deck launch, so it seems like they just really didn't think the Steam controller would be in as high demand and didn't set up the queue from the get-go. They have the technology though, and thanks to a one reservation per account setup, there's now a lot more scalper mitigation in place than previously. You also need an account in good standing on Steam with a purchase prior to April 27th, 2026. For the lucky few who did get an order in on day one, the controller does seem to be shipping out quickly though, at least, which only leaves the still unanswered follow-up question: when Steam Machine and Steam Frame? Valve has imported 50 tons worth of game consoles just recently, so it seems like it could be soon. And I'm gonna guess that when they do happen, they're gonna kick those sales off with the reservation queue enabled from the start. Next up, there's a global memory shortage going on. You may have heard about it, so it probably wouldn't help if one of the three big memory fabricators, Samsung, shut down for 2.5 weeks, but that could totally happen if Samsung doesn't come to an agreement with their workers. It started a couple weeks ago when 30,000 employees rallied in solidarity in Pyeongtaek, South Korea, to demand that they get a piece of the record profits Samsung is making. But even though the initial offer of 13% of Samsung's operating profits would have meant a one-time $340,000 bonus per employee, the union is holding out for more because rival fab SK Hynix has set the bar even higher. Their bonus plan allocates 10% of SK Hynix annual operating profit to employee bonuses, meaning SK Hynix staff is looking at a $477,000 bonus per person this year. Yes, we're still talking US dollars, and they've promised to keep that bonus plan in place for the next decade, with 2027's bonus already estimated to be $900,000 per employee. I wonder if they're hiring. If no deal is reached in Samsung's negotiations though, the union plans to conduct an 18-day general strike from May 21st to June 7th, which would seriously impact RAM output, further exacerbating the global shortage, meaning less memory for everyone and more sad news for PC builders. I'm all for the workers getting an equitable cut of the company profits, but this DRAM fire needs no more fuel. I sincerely hope they come to terms as soon as possible. In other glowing news for PC hardware, we are seeing some actual post-RAM shortage sales numbers now that we're well into 2026, and they do not look pretty. Digitimes reports that motherboard sales outlooks have collapsed by over 25%. Based on sales thus far and future forecasts, ASUS estimates 10 million motherboard sales in 2026, down from 15 million last year, or minus 30%. ASRock expects 2.7 million, down from 4.4. Gigabyte will be 25% down, 8 to 8.5 million versus 11.5, and MSI is down from 11 million to 8.4. The biggest reason is the RAM shortage, of course, which is caused by AI demand, and which currently has many consumer DDR5 kits going for quadruple what they did pre-crisis. The knock-on effects are many as well. GPU launches like the RTX 50 Super series have been delayed or cancelled, and new GPUs often spur customer upgrades or new builds, but those have not materialized. Intel's motherboard cycle is also in need of a new socket that won't arrive until later this year, and of course storage prices for SSDs and hard drives are also up, which increases system cost and discourages new builds. AMD somewhat awkwardly needed to inform everyone that they also see a big downtrend for PC gaming hardware coming, stating in their earnings call Tuesday that they expect second half gaming revenue to decline more than 20%, which would be a pretty huge deal for AMD in the past, but seeing as they've had a significant hand in the AI data center hardware frenzy that's at the root of all the shortages, they should still get by just fine as a company. They did report $10.3 billion in revenue in Q1 after all, and while $5.8 billion of that was from their data center side, just 720 million came from gaming, and that includes consoles. Yeah, AMD should be just fine, but I am not as optimistic for many of these smaller niche vendors, especially the ones who focus on desktop hardware. I am not sure that all of those companies will make it. Speaking of time running short, let's do tech briefs now. There was a bit of a kerfuffle in the past week about GALAX, maker of shiny white GPUs among other things, but to sum up, people thought GALAX was shutting down, and it turns out they're not. They're just going through one of those management reorganizations that corporations love to do sometimes. GALAX, along with KFA2 and the HOF or Hall of Fame brand, will continue to exist under Palit Group, and apart from enjoying the shade videocards.com through at Tom's Hardware during all this, there is one big revelation. Palit's statement confirmed that they are fully prepared for the current generation of GPUs and are already working on the next generation to come. And they only make NVIDIA-based cards, so fire up those air horns, you guys. RTX 6090 confirmed. For real though, I have been in doubt that there would even be a next generation of GeForce GPUs, so deep down this feels like reassurance that the current PC hardware quagmire will eventually pass. Next up, the Gigabyte AORUS RTX 5090 Infinity 32G has launched. And I know what you're thinking. A video card article? A videocards.com? A bit on the nose, wouldn't you say? And I agree, subtlety is dead, but I'm just happy that a card I showed off at CES is actually launching, even though there's no MSRP yet, so it's probably like one of those high-end restaurants where if you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. It's also likely in short supply, because Gigabyte put up the product page and sent out a press release, so supposedly this GPU has launched, but retail availability is non-existent, and I haven't spotted any reviews out either. But I guess that's just typical for a 2026 GPU launch. We just get the vaguest feeling that a new video card has come out, and that will have to be enough. Speaking of unattainable video cards, AMD continues to show us just how cool of Radeon desktop video cards they could make if they actually cared. The Instinct MI350P has 144 gigabytes of HBM3E memory, so it's an AI accelerator, obviously, but I can't deny that it's a serious and sexy looking piece of kit with its brushed metal finish and svelte dual slot design. Now normally I would not tease you with such a lofty card, which will likely cost in the low 5 figures at least, but I do have a quibble. Can you see it? It's right there. This is a 600 watt GPU, and AMD went and outfitted it with a 12V 2x6 connector. I'm gonna say that was a poor choice, AMD, and while I haven't had a lot of confidence in the Radeon team's lack of GPUs lately either, I really hope this doesn't indicate that that stupid plug will start appearing in other AMD-made GPUs. Apart from Sapphires, of course. Finally, for all those suffering from high DDR5 prices, we have a proposition: DDR6. Sure, we could cringe and talk about how dumb the pricing is likely to be for the next-gen standard, which, per South Korean media outlet The Elec, SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron are reportedly already well underway designing in their labs, but that would be depressing. Consider instead throughput increasing from 8,000 megatransfers per second or so up to 17,000 plus, or the novelty of the CAM2 standard that it will likely use. I choose to look on the bright side though. Even though DDR6 will likely come out in 2028 versus 2027 as previously planned, it still looks like it will be coming out, and much like the next-gen NVIDIA GPU news from Palit, I think it bodes well that companies are still planning for the next gen with some accommodation for consumer hardware. Even if we're looking at 2028 already and skipping next year. We could just do retro builds in the meantime or something like that. But there you have it, guys, tech news for the week, and if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all of the articles I talked about today are linked in this video's description if you're interested, and you can check out my store at paulshardware.net for high-quality merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next week.